see.
One of my daughter's boyfriend was over. She's like, "Yeah, I was gonna ask your dad if he needed help. He was angry." She's like, "No, it's his ADD taking. He was just focused."
He was at Oldsmar days.
Because I had to pull out one of the 10x10 tents because it was raining outside because it was on the back. I was like, had a 10x10, had my side table, had my speakers going. They came out like, "Dad, you're like tailgating." I'm like, in the
Yeah.
zone.
He's,
Then turned around and made sushi for dinner.
Wow.
You made sushi?
Yeah, we made sushi.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was good. That was good.
Yeah, that's impressive.
welcome, Brandon. He can sit up here, can't he?
Suda
was There.
supposed to
be
here?
Or there's a.
It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's a seat available. Might as well take it. Brandon, where'd you play college ball at?
Wake Forest University. I'm good at
Stephen Deacon in that.
Well, just make sure it's not USF. Otherwise, this guy's going to jump up and give you a hug.
I saw your name down here, I'm like, okay. I used to be one of those people, alternate member.
I made crepes for breakfast yesterday. So we did crepes and bacon and sausage.
Crepes, oh my gosh.
How long have you
You
lived in
guys are
Waltham?
impressive. I don't, wow, crepes, sushi.
Yeah, house
Amazing.
flood. It's only been there 6 months.
Egg and sausage wraps.
I was
About a
there
year?
Yeah.
Oh, from where?
I
I
worked
was
so,
from Tampa. I moved.
I had to work
to
yesterday.
San Diego.
so I think I had a protein shake.
Tampa, the Oldsmar. I like this feel better.
Between, how long ago did you move from
All
San
right.
Diego?
Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for Monday, May 12th, 2025. It's 6 p.m., so I'm officially calling this meeting to order. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Where?
I guess you guys can switch.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Besides, Kansas, Cologne, like, once I go to Cologne, I'm still on the end.
So at this time, I'll open up Citizens Open Forum. Seeing we have no one here, I'm going to close that.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
someone in your family.
Okay, so our first agenda item is approval of our minutes dated February 10th, 2025. The minutes have been distributed by Jenny. Are there any corrections a board member would like to make at this time? Seeing none, any motion to approve minutes from February 10th, 2025?
Make a motion?
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All those opposed, say no. Motion passes. Approval for minutes for February 10th, 2025 meeting. Next item on our agenda is agenda item number 2, consideration of excused absence for February 10th, 2025 meeting for board member Steve Phillips. Steve, do you have an excusable reason for missing?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an excusable reason for missing our last meeting?
Well, they had the second biggest HVAC convention in Orlando. The other big one was in Chicago. So I went there for my son's business. It has to do with air conditioning, refrigeration, everything. And it was like a 3-day convention, and it started Monday.
Nice to meet you.
And I left Sunday, was out there Sunday night, and I just couldn't get back here in time. That's why I didn't know if we could do it, virtual or phone or whatever, but that's why I wasn't here. I was out there till Wednesday.
No, okay, thanks.
So I need a motion to excuse Steve Phillips from the February 10th, 2025 meeting.
I make a motion to excuse Steve. We like to have our board, and I think we should encourage him to keep coming back.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? As I said before, for me to be excused, it has to be emergency, so that's just my feeling. Anyone has their way of how they would like to vote. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No. Motion passes. Okay. Next item we have on agenda is agenda item number 3, team position applicant, Krishna. Everyone should have received a copy from Jenny. So it doesn't look like he's here. So if there's Yeah, he's not here, so can we just make a motion to approve, or should we ask him to come back, or?
So teen applicants are approved by the council, so it was just an introduction. So if he's not here, I don't think there's anything the board needs to do.
Okay, so just,
Or unless you would like to make a recommendation to approve to the council.
okay, would anyone like to make a motion?
Well, I think I'm in agreement. We'd like to see him, make sure he wants to dedicate.
I agree with that.
Invite? Or is that not required? You just recommend to council?
Teen members are approved by the council.
Yeah, they don't even need our
Right,
recommendation.
correct.
Yeah. So if there's not much more to do? Is that-
Yeah, I think it just dies.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, then we'll,
Recommendation? Just goes on to council?
it just goes on council, so,
I think we want to encourage, as we said, any of our team members, so that they are able to be here to introduce.
Right.
I agree.
all right. Well, moving on to agenda item number 4, park survey results discussion. So before we move forward of talking about this, I want to open up for a remaining discussion. Last time, staff went over it pretty thoroughly with us of the survey, but staff also encouraged us to go back and look at it, see if there's anything else we'd like to talk about. So I just want to open up the floor to any board member that would like to discuss anything from our last survey before we proceed. I mean, I have the survey somewhere.
No, I had it too.
No? Good?
I think it was good.
No comments? I think
No
it was
comments
pretty
on it, so,
thorough last
yeah.
time.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, you have the floor, Chip.
Okay, so we typically do 2 surveys a year, every 6 months. One is the community results, the community input survey, the results which we had and we discussed last time, which, as you know, is more or less a feel of the community, what kind of events they want, what kind of activities, things like that. The park user survey is more of a who's visiting our parks, how long does it take you to get to our parks, what do you do in our parks, how much time do you spend. It just kind of gives us a little snapshot of actually who's coming to our parks. I'd like to kind of expand that as well to try to get non-park users like, why don't you visit our parks, and all these other things as well. So what I'd like to do tonight is have you guys nominate a board member who would work with me and John and Mike to develop the next park user survey, which then we'll bring back to the meeting in August with the questions which then you guys would approve and say, okay, yeah, discuss and approve, and say yes, no, or add this, or change this, modify, however you want to go about it. And then once that is approved at the August meeting, then we'll go ahead and have an implementation schedule like we have before with the board to go out and do intercept surveys, things like that. And then we'll also have the online opportunity as well. And then, of course, get the feedback from our community. So what I would like to ask is if Amber, if you could solicit any volunteers, and then the board can decide who they like to have us work with.
Okay. Is there any volunteers at this time that would like to work on their next survey?
Volunteer, if
Okay.
Chip will have me.
Of course.
Okay. So, yeah, is it all board in agreement of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right,
Then,
Steve,
and
you'll be-
Steve, I'll get in touch with you, and we'll get a meeting together, and we'll go over some of the ideas of what we want to get on the survey, and then you and I will work together to put it together, and we'll bring it back in August. Okay?
He can catch up on his hour he missed with us. That's great.
I'll make it painful.
I'm there.
All right, well, closing item number 4, moving on to item number 5, new business. I'll start on my far left with Ms. Suda Antis Cologne. Any new business, ma'am?
No new business, an announcement, but I save that for board comments.
Okay. Brandon Gee, I know you're new, but do you have any?
No, ma'am.
Appreciate it. My new business, welcome.
No, I don't.
All right, thank you. Steve?
Is this like new ideas for recommendations for parks or whatever?
To kind of get on the agenda for next time. That's kind of what we do for new business, if there's something.
I wanted to kind of bring up, I have been a long time since my kids were little bit. I've taken my granddaughters to the parks around the area here in Oldsmar and so on. And one of the things I was thinking about, they're older now, but when my youngest one, well, she's only 4, but when you go to the mall, like Countryside Mall, you go to they have a little kiddie area. They have little things for little toddlers to play on. 1, 2, 3-year-olds, they can't get on these swings. They can't walk up the stairs. They don't like to go down the slides because they're too big and they're scared of them. What if we were to have like a little toddler park, a little toddler area in some of these parks that just had little things that the 1, 2, and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds can climb on, you know, and the parents could sit there rather than having to stand by them when they go on the steps into the swings and the big slides that are more for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Well, we do have the tot spot at RE Olds. It's a little bit further away, but it's enclosed. And that's, what, a year or 2 years ago we got the gate enclosed?
Yeah. Is there any way we have those in some of the other parks too, or just the one park? or-
So we have, is it nine playgrounds and one fit zone throughout the city. We have well enough per capita playground-wise for the size of our city. Playgrounds are typically designed for ages 2 to 5 or ages 5 to 12. So they don't typically design commercial playgrounds less than 2 because obvious reasons. But we do have a number of 2 to 5 areas throughout the city, as Amber had mentioned as well. We do have toddler playtime that John runs up at Cypress Forest Rec Center, which is definitely lower than the 2 age group, you know, just walking. They have mini bounce houses and toys and things that they could play on, and it's inside in a conditioned area. So we do that up at Cypress Forest Rec Center indoors,
And it's free.
and it's free.
Any other splash zone?
Yeah,
park, yeah.
and the spray park that's right there outside. That's a wet playground, if you want to call it that. So yeah.
Okay, good.
Any other comments?
What's that?
Any other comments for new business?
No.
Okay, good. Mr. Joe?
I don't know if it's new business, so I should just wait for board comments, but the Sheffield party in the park was awesome, and I would like to see more events there. If that is something that would come up, that would be great, because that was.
Yeah. Well, any feedback on that event, and maybe that's board comments because
Yeah,
it's not
I'll be-
voted.
No, I'm
but-
gonna go
but
more into
that's-
that, but that's, I'd like to see
Okay.
more events over there. That'd be great.
Okay, anything else?
That'd be about it.
Okay. Ms. Donna?
Are we going to discuss what we're attempting to do at Orioles?
We could do that in board comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Dave?
Not all anything to do.
Okay. Tina?
And I had the same question about the facelift in Orioles Park.
Okay.
So that, I guess we could save it for board comments, but that was my question as well. Yep.
Okay. I don't have any, so staff?
Okay, I'll just give a brief update on some of the things that I've reported to you guys through email with the monthly reports, but some of the things that I certainly wanted to highlight. So recently, staff completed the installation of new benches and picnic tables at Orioles Park. We also installed a new bottle filler water fountain at Orioles Park. We just completed one at Sheffield Park and one at Bicentennial as well. So there's a total of 3 now that are filtered bottle filler water stations within our parks.
And I've used all of them.
What's that?
And I've used all of them.
And Amber's used all of them. And we also installed new shell on the beach trail down in Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve down by the beach area. That was all part of a Trail Go grant program that the city was awarded. So we've actually completed that part of the project, and now we can go back for our reimbursement. But we've got a lot of positive feedback on the bottle fillers and all of that, and the new benches and the picnic tables. So we're excited about that. If a new Trail Go grant comes available, we're certainly going to apply for it. We don't know what the cycle is. It's through FDEP. So once that gets posted, if it gets funded, we'll go ahead and we'll apply for that again. Because not only were we able to do the benches and the water fillers and all that, but we were also able to buy a mower, a batwing mower, which is $93,000 for a mower, $93,000 for a batwing mower. But they're very large, and it cuts down on the mowing time. But we were able to get funded 50% reimbursement for that as well. So we'll certainly take advantage of that or other grants when they come available.
Was that the first time you applied to that grant?
It's the first time it was ever available, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Some other stuff, if you guys visit the library, maybe you've noticed the new lava rock in the parking lot and the plantings that are going in,
Yeah.
Silver Buttonwoods by the entrance area. And then staff also did border and mulch and some other plantings around the front and the side of the library. So we're excited about those enhancements that have taken place there. This isn't on my list, but the Oldsmar and Orbit signs are in the process of being recreated. There was a QR code thing that they had to go through, and Mark has a new, Mark is in our communication marketing department, but I believe he has new software that they're trying to integrate they don't want to have two different sets. So anyway, but it's coming, and once those are done, we'll reinstall those as well.
Great.
Since the last meeting, from a programming standpoint, we've just about made it through our winter and spring event season. It's been very successful. Really, the credit goes to come on in.
That's great.
Go ahead and have a seat for a second. I think he's your applicant. We can cycle back
Yeah,
if you guys
we'll
want
do
to after this. Let's see. All the credit goes to John and his staff. I get to go to the council meetings and get the praise as a department head, but really it's John and his staff that make all of these events successful. I don't know if you've had a chance to go to Stargazers out at Veterans Memorial Park, but the attendance for that has just increased. Every time we can have, unfortunately, it was cloudy last Thursday, and we're going to be getting into the summer season where it's going to be cloudy, so that won't pick back up until the fall. But St. Pete Astronomy Club is there. Just people cycle through the park. It's a great location, and kudos to John. And that was actually John's idea himself. When Oldsmar in Orbit came about. So that was all his idea. We did chalk the park since our last meeting. We had Kite Day out at Sheffield Park. John's group ran a spring break camp out at Cypress Forest Rec Center. We hosted the extravaganza event, the Easter egg hunt event, which is always crazy. But controlled chaos is what I call it. But nonetheless, we also had breakfast with the bunny. Recently, we had the Opal Theater program down in Orioles Park with Alice in Wonderland Jr., which was a huge success.
Over 300 in attendance.
Over 300 in attendance.
Wow.
So that's steady. Those theater productions are steady. We hosted 2 Party in the Park events, one which was just mentioned, one over here at Orioles Park, and then the most recent one, which was last Friday at Sheffield Park. We estimate 350 to 400 for that event, cycling through there. And, and Joe, thanks for the recognition of that event, but I can't tell you how proud I am of the staff for taking on that event. We sat back in John's office back in the fall, and I said to him, I won an event at Sheffield Park. I won an event at Sheffield. We got to move over to that side of town. And he's kind of met with lukewarm enthusiasm, I would say at first, but nonetheless.
No, that is not a true statement.
Tepid?
What's your version, John?
There are logistic challenges.
There are logistic challenges, but I can tell you that the planning for this event it surpassed the planning that we do for Winter Wonderland or Haunted Happenings because we knew we had to hit a home run. There are a lot of logistic issues that we had to think about: parking, electricity, the whole. How do we get people in? How do we get people out? But when you actually finally got out there and you see it, there's a lot of space out there. I mean,
Yes,
there's more
there's a lot of
space.
There's so much space.
I mean, Sheffield does have more acreage than Orioles Park.
Great.
Yes.
And the parking situations are the same for the most part at Orioles as they are in the Sheffield Bayside area, in Cuddy Bay Court, that area. John's guys did a great job. We put door hangers on all of the houses. All of the houses out there got a door hanger, 453 door hangers.
Wow.
To let people know what was coming. We had electronic signage. We put signs up in the medians that said, please don't park on grass. When I left, you see some cars, it's hard to manage that, but same thing down here at Orioles. If, we just try to encourage, if you don't want people parking in that, just put up some rope or some cones or something or signs, and people usually follow that. But, wow, what a great night. I mean, I was just smiling from ear to ear. I was just so proud and happy. I mean, waves of people just kept coming. 6 o'clock, it's like somebody flipped the switch and waves of people kept coming into the park. And like John was saying, we see a lot of the same faces when we're at Orioles Park.
That's,
That's
40% same faces, 60% new faces out there. I
Yeah.
mean, it was,
Lot of new
and
faces.
lots of laughing and fun and kids and families. And I just, like I said, I'm not gonna harp on it, but I'm just so proud of the fact that they were able to pull that off, and I'm glad the weather held off. And again, John is a logistic master and had everything lined up, like I said. So kudos to the staff for that event. And going into it, there were some concerns from residents in that area. Well, I'll acknowledge that there were some concerns from a few residents. Oh, how are we gonna park? This park isn't designed for this. And honestly, we said, hey, we're going to do a full evaluation of this event following the activity, following Friday. I I don't know. I couldn't find anything negative that really happened out there.
No, it wasn't.
We had our, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office was out there to have a
Edison, yeah.
presence, and that made me happy because, that we wanted that because we wanted the community to feel like, hey, this isn't just
safe.
a ad lib event. Come have, do whatever you want to do out here. And there were some, teens that had their little e-bikes and scooters, and they were well behaved. And it's funny because we were talking, there was a group of teenagers, probably older teenagers in their 17, 18 range, and they came up to play basketball. And of course, the court was utilized for the foam party, which the foam party was amazing in and of itself. Kind of disappointed, I'm sure, but then next thing you know, they're over on the jousting, jousting each other, and then they're playing the
baseball one?
the baseball thing, and they're doing the what's the buckets with the ball, trying they ad-lib their own games, so they had a good time as well. So kudos to John and his staff for doing that.
I mean, like you said, there's a lot more acreage, but it was also like enclosed, so
Yeah.
that's what helped
Yeah.
too. I felt
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you felt
So
safer.
They circled it in, and
Yeah.
there's more space, but it was still, it was fun. So yeah, we talked about it. We're not gonna saturate the park every week with events, but we are gonna try and look and see if there's other things we can do out there. Maybe a movie in the park, maybe something, like that. Just
I was
share-
even thinking maybe haunted happenings one year might work for that because you don't necessarily know.
Not the electricity.
No?
It's the power
need
is
a
the
stage.
biggest. Power is the biggest issue out there. So all of
This is
those.
the logistic master, as he calls me, no.
Yeah. So
Nobody goes through for that one.
So, yeah.
Fringes of helping with that.
the electricity issue out there is the biggest challenge. We had all of those inflatables were running off of independent generators.
Generators.
So we had like two bounce houses for one generator, and they'd have to refill, and we had one go down, had to pop it back up, and so that's the biggest challenge is that. But anyway, moving on. We still have a few more events to go for the remainder of our special event season. This weekend we have Miss Suda's Dancers. Her recital is this weekend at Orioles Park at 5 p.m. We have our Memorial Day ceremony coming up on Monday, May 26th at 10 a.m. And then we have our invasive fish roundup, which is Saturday, May 31st at 9:30.
The same day,
Yes,
isn't it?
No, 24th. May 24th.
It's right after the run.
May 24th, right after the run. Oh, I said the 31st. 9 a.m. All right. Just a couple of highlights here from Parks and Oldsmar Sports Complex. We replaced Fibar in the playgrounds. Fibar is basically, it's engineered mulch. It's the safe stuff. You just can't throw like dirty mulch out there. It's engineered. They performed a number of tree trimmings throughout the parks. They did a number of event setups. Oldsmar Sports Complex staff continued maintenance of the athletic fields as we transition from cooler weather to warmer weather. The rye starts to die out, and then the Bermuda starts to kick in, so there's a little bit of a transition period there. We hosted baseball and soccer tournaments out at Oldsmar Sports Complex. Mike's staff completed their biannual citywide playground inspections. And as I mentioned earlier, we refreshed the parking islands with lava rock at the library, and we put lava rock also around the sign at Veterans Memorial Park as well. So it's kind of just a little bit of us in a nutshell over the past quarter. So that's all I really have from my update.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Chip and staff and the logistics master?
I don't know about questions, but I'm excited that the sports complex be getting the new LED lights soon.
Yeah, so the day after Memorial Day, the 27th, Musco Lighting will be starting to stage their equipment for the retrofit of fields 1, 2, and 7 to new LED sports lighting, which will dramatically change the atmosphere out there and the playability. It's from a safety standpoint and a brightness, because your lumens are your candle foot power is going up too. So anyway. So that'll happen on the 27th. And I was surprised as we had our pre-construction meeting with the vendor out there. He's like, yeah, probably 3 or 4 days, probably. I'm thinking, okay, probably a month or so, but yeah. So that gives me hope for future projects out there as well to the rest of baseball and then also soccer and football. So.
Okay, Suda, you had a question?
Yeah, just a minor question. It may have been resolved, but I had a couple people ask me about the uneven sidewalks, and I'm talking more over behind the library, Arlington, Lafayette, and I noticed at one time there was some spray paint, like we might be getting ready to even some of those off. Just be aware of those and.
Okay, I'll make note, that's a Public Works project if it's on a city street. If it's inside of the park, then that's us in Parks and
Gotcha.
Recreation, if
So
it's on the
these would be
street.
city streets.
So this would be city street,
I
so
would typically report that to you and then you would pass it on.
you can get it to us, or if you want, you can always go on Civic Plus and fill out a form on Civic Plus.
Gotcha. I just had a couple people ask about
Yeah.
them, so that was
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I do. When could we address the sidewalks in the park? Because I've noticed when I'm in the parks, there's a lot of broken ones.
Which,
Veterans one that one just finished like a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago.
that one. And Bicentennial Park is really pretty bad too.
Yeah, so we assess those, and you know, if there is an imminent danger on there, then we would address it immediately. We can do what we can do within budget, and you know, kind of prioritize. Same thing that Streets does. They have a replacement program for that as well.
Yeah,
So
Bicentennial really needs some attention.
we'll make a note of that.
Yeah,
Where at?
all around the lake. It's like, I've, a lot. I would go over the whole thing, yeah,
Maybe I'm just used to it. So.
you know,
Yeah. Hold on a second.
cracked, broken.
So the sidewalks in the parks, particularly at Bicentennial, the ones around the lake that you're talking about, the Public Works Department has what's called a slope mower. It's a giant tractor with a
Okay.
big boom that goes out that
Okay.
mows the edges that we can't, you can't drive down to
Yeah.
those steep banks. Unfortunately, that machine is very, very heavy.
Oh.
And it also has to have huge counterweights on the other side to keep the boom from tipping it over. So that machine does damage our sidewalks quite a bit. So we prioritize those by not just cracks in the sidewalk, but if they're uneven where there's a trip hazard.
Yeah, these have actually cracked and then they've kind of caved in. I don't know whether it's a lack of rebar or what the problem is exactly.
Yeah, I
but-
mean, I don't know that the sidewalks, when they were installed, those should really be 6-inch thick reinforced
Yeah.
sidewalks, but typically a park sidewalk is not designed to have heavy vehicular use on it, so they're only 4 inches or so and don't have that reinforcement. So as we replace them, we'll obviously be looking to make sure that they're able to stand up to the use that they take.
Yeah, there was quite a few the other week I noticed that really bad.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, closing agenda item number 5. So,
Excuse me, did you want to?
well, I was about to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I thought
I'm gonna
you
make
said
it more
closing
official.
agenda item. Sorry.
Maybe you would like to make the motion to suspend the rules of the day to go back to agenda item number 3.
No, I just heard you say agenda item, next item, and I just wanted to make sure you remembered.
Oh, I remember.
Nope, that's your job, Amber. Thank you.
So I'd like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules of the day and go back to agenda item number 3.
Motion?
Motion, second. All those in favor say aye. All
Aye.
those opposed say no. All right. Krishna, could you please come forward? To the podium, I'm sorry. So just welcome, and we just would like to hear a little bit about yourself and why you'd like to join our board for Parks and Rec.
My name is Krishna, and I go to Eastlake High School, and I'm in 10th grade. And why I like to join your thing is because I would like to have extra opportunities. Like, I play soccer sometimes, but, like, I want to do more, like, volunteering and, like, stuff.
Okay, cool. Anybody have any questions for Krishna? No standard set. I have questions if anyone would like to ask. We're not going to grill you or anything, just wanted to meet you.
Whereabouts in Oldsmar do you live?
What?
Whereabouts in Oldsmar do you live?
306 Lake Placid, like in Forest Lakes.
Forest Lakes?
Okay.
what are some volunteer things that you'd like be interested in?
Maybe teaching kids how to play soccer.
Nice.
I got a question for you. What did you dream about last night?
What?
No. I'm only kidding.
Anybody else? All right, well, Krishna, thanks for coming and
Thank you.
taking the time to do that. So we look forward to having you on board at our next meeting in August.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
And you're welcome
Thank
to
you.
stay for the rest of the meeting, or if you, okay, cool. All right, moving on to item number 6, board comments. I'll start on my left to my vice chair, Justin Hill.
Hi. Party in the Park was awesome. 10 out of 10.
Concur?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. Like you said, new faces were great to see. Like you saw a lot of people, a lot more. I feel like it was a lot of younger kids. Just really good vibes, really good time. Everybody had a blast. Couldn't get the kids out of the park. It was really, really great, and it would be great to see more of that. You know, obviously, like I said, you know, electrical problems. You know, but
problems, just challenges.
yeah. But I mean, you know, it didn't seem. I mean, I didn't hang out in the parking area, but it didn't seem like parking was that big of a deal. I did have to go walk back and get the car because the kids gave up. So I got to look at the parking on the way out. I was like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. But yeah, it was a really good time, and looking forward to another event there.
Anything else, or?
That's about it.
Okay. Steve? Any board comments?
I just want to congratulate Chip and John and the staff for pulling that off and getting everything. It ran really smoothly. I mean, you guys did a good job on it.
All right. Brandon, do you have any board comments you'd like to?
I don't have any. I'm just happy to be a part of the group, and hopefully the next meeting I can chime in and adapt more to, I guess, the entire park, what you guys do. I know we spoke one-on-one, just, again, be a part of the community and contribute.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Ms. Suda?
Welcome to our new board members. No, I don't have anything. I did hear great comments, as everybody's saying, from neighbors about Party in the Park. I was unable to go myself for some reason. Theater and dance does not allow me much extra time to get involved. But I did have a couple of neighbors that really commented about how great it was and what a great event it was. And then, of course, as Chip mentioned, and I've commented, we had over 300 for Alice in Wonderland. Very proud of our kids. I'm looking forward to Beetlejuice Jr. as our next show.
Don't say it 2 more times.
On June 2nd, the auditions are, so help us pass the word. Thank you.
Of course. Tina Marie?
Just that everything looks really nice. I've been out to the library a couple times this week and saw the new lava rock and all the mulch, and everything looks really good. You can tell you guys been working hard. It looks great.
All right, thank you. Dave?
I wish I could have made it to Party in the Park because it's in my backyard.
I know.
Unfortunately, Fridays and Saturdays are extremely busy for us with baseball, or at least our family. But hopefully we'll be able to make it to the next one.
Awesome. All right, Ms. Donna?
Well, I do like, I'm happy that the foam machine is working well and that it's going over well. That's good. Good. And low maintenance, I hope.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Good.
It was a hit.
Huh.
To say the least.
Good.
I even got to phone people. That was the fun part.
Yeah, it was fun.
There's some really good pictures from it.
Okay, can't wait to see those. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so, unless you're going to talk about anything else.
No.
Okay. All right, sure. Okay.
I mean,
Volunteers or anything?
so,
You wanted to talk about the email that went out, or?
okay, so what Donna's referencing is that the Parks Department is engaging in an effort to do some beautification on the entryway median at Orioles Park. And Donna's been very helpful throughout this process, and this is not board related, so, okay. This is part of a program that Donna's trying, the city has an Adopt a Park program that we've provided Donna with the paperwork to help to build a volunteer group that would then help to maintain that garden planting area. So the board's not required to do it, but Donna's sure well enough to speak about it during board comments, because we can have those kind of comments. So I know Donna's trying to build this group. I think it's really going to be, it's really going to dress up the entry to the park and make it look really nice.
Yes, it needs it.
We do have the plant material on order. The guys in the Parks Department have done some of the crepe myrtle work to clean up some of the crepe myrtles. We're working on some irrigation stuff that's right there. So as soon as we get all the plant material in, we'll go ahead and we'll plant that, and then have the Adopt a Park group help to maintain that over the course of time. So that kind of summarizes. Is that pretty accurate there for you? So if anybody, even
It is,
who's out
and-
here watching, if anybody's out here watching on YouTube, you can get in touch with us here in the department, and we can get you in touch with Donna, or you can reach out directly, however that works. And if you're interested in helping to keep things looking nice.
Yeah, and we're not talking about heavy maintenance or
No.
anything, just merely walking through when you're taking your walk, that week, and just walk through and make sure everything looks really neat, just like in your yard.
Yeah.
And then our next goal is perhaps Bicentennial Park, and we'll just after all, it starts in the parks, right?
It does.
So we're gonna do a park at a time, right? Hope so.
I think that'll be really nice.
Yeah.
I think it needs it.
Yeah.
Be perfect.
Everything depends on the budget.
Well, and a lot of, volunteers.
And volunteers, correct.
That's all we
'cause, you know,
need, I mean.
Yeah, because we have a small staff and they do a great job. So any help that we can get from the community is certainly welcome.
Well, my adopted street is that area.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So, and I've had that for like 4 years now. So I quarterly clean up that whole
Okay.
street. So pick up the trash and litter.
Okay, that's
You'll
good to
see me
know.
out there next month.
Okay, great. Okay, anything else, Donna?
No, I can't think of anything
Okay.
else. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, I have a couple board comments. John, how long have you been doing Stargazers for now?
100 years.
A
millennium. We stargazers, it was,
Was it 22 or 21?
2 years, right?
yeah, I think it's gonna.
Come to the podium,
It's a
please.
microphone. I've never met one of these before. Stargazers started off as a bet between me and the city manager. She wanted space programming right after COVID. And I said, I just need to make 3 things. So I made up 3 programs. Stargazers was like, oh, I need a third one. That's what it was. Didn't think it was going to work. The other 2 failed. Stargazers is still going on, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So Stargazers really is just from when we started Oldsmar in orbit. That's when it started, and it's just it just has its own life. It just took
Wow.
off. So,
fantastic.
yeah. Then we have St. Pete Astronomy involved with it. No, Paul's a really good guy. He's got a lot of information, but he likes to talk. So
I noticed.
if you ask Paul a question, be prepared. But he gives great information. He's a valuable asset to that program,
Nice.
and we couldn't do it without him. So
Okay, because I've only made it to 1. And it's because every time it's canceled, every time I want to go. And I was thinking about going to the one this past week, and I told Chip, and then all of a sudden it was canceled.
yeah, it
So
was.
I don't know if you guys have this Amber Alert or something.
That's what it is. Yeah. What's Amber going to do? No. So we're in constant contact with Paul, who's deep into this, and he gives me a lot of input. He's like, this is probably not going to be a good night to do what we want to do. And especially for his equipment, the stuff he brings in is deep space. So if there's any kind of haze or light pollution, it just doesn't work. So it just doesn't make sense to do it on nights when we know it's not going to be very good. That's all. We're going to redo it this Thursday, so hopefully we'll have good weather
Okay.
for that.
And
So
I've been
don't
out there.
say I'm going to come.
I've been out there for it.
It's a good time, and it's a passive event. It's great because we usually average anywhere between a dozen to 30 people, and it's not, we don't have them all at one time.
Right, it just kind of
It's
trickles
just,
in.
this is just people kind of coming through, they're looking, they're doing their thing, they're asking their questions, and they move along, and then we just, it's really just, it's the most, I can't even think of a word, it's just so relaxing. It's at your own pace. You either want to do it or you don't. Most people find us by accident.
And it's a beautiful venue, so
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful.
Yeah, and we don't do it in the
Station right
summertime,
there
it gets
on
too
the
hot.
water.
Hot, yeah.
Yeah, well, on Sunset, but the problem with veterans during warm weather is that the pavers heat up. So it could be dark outside and it's still 900 degrees out there. So it's like, oh, this isn't fun. And then you move to the grass and then you're dealing with mosquitoes, so.
Yeah,
But it's a great program.
The
It's
one we
really-
went in
it's
March,
great.
it just missed the daylight savings, so that's why it was
Yeah.
still like
Yeah.
getting dark.
And we
close.
do oddball events, as well. We did the solar eclipse.
Oh, I remember that
was
one.
fun.
The park
Yeah.
was
The
packed.
sun gazers.
That was
It was
fun.
It was
sun
200
gazers,
people, right?
It was
That was
packed.
packed, so
Park
it
was
was- yeah.
packed, yeah. So
That was fun.
it's really one of those programs that just happened organically, and we're just really happy with it.
Yeah, we had a good time the one time we were able to come. So
That's good.
Hopefully, I won't say I'm going to come this Thursday.
No, don't do it, because I'm going.
And then your kids can run around like mine do after a while, like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Let's go on the exercise equipment. Okay. Yes, Party in the Park, as it's been said several times, was awesome. I went to both, the one in March and the one this past Friday. The one in March was, like you said, at Olds Park. It was colder that night. I was actually wearing a jacket, and so when you got in the foam, or the kids got in the foam, it was cold. They were freezing. You needed towels. But it was still really great. Like, I didn't think it could get any better. And this one this past Friday it just blew me away and blew everyone away. So I hope you can come next time, because it really was a great event. It's not exaggerating.
Yeah, it was awesome.
One time, yeah, Joe and I ambushed Chip.
Yeah, we got Chip. We got Chip with the phone.
We were too scared to do it to John. We thought he'd like throw us in the mosh pit.
Let's go to John. I was like,
Embrace that thought.
John looks like he's got good aim. I'm like,
Yeah. And there were both the DJs. I noticed that too. Good music. Did you notice, were you there right when it started for the foam party?
Not when it started.
Oh, they had
Didn't know
Prince, or
Oh, that's
artist
right,
formerly known
yeah.
as Prince, whatever he goes by. Well, he's dead, but had Let's Go Crazy, so I thought that was the perfect song for that. So I don't know who decided on that, but it was, okay, Logistics Master, of course.
Logistics master.
Logistic master DJ.
DJ.
DJ the Logistics
Stargazers, yeah, all these titles.
Got all these different hats he wears. Yeah.
But not summer camp director, right?
No, I'm that too.
Okay. Oh, you are? I thought it was Eric.
No, me.
Okay. So, yeah, and then both those cannons were ours now, correct? There's two, yeah. And you said they could change colors or something? You don't want to do that, though?
The phone.
The foam.
We don't.
Yeah, this has a dye in it.
Yeah.
It's good the way it is.
You don't want to do anything for the
I don't
holidays?
upset any parents who just bought new clothes and then their shoes are pink and, you know.
Well, that's why you got to wear, yeah, I was thinking, there were some kids that had swimsuits on. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was
oh, we should
smart.
have done that.
I know, we didn't bring towels. We like, oh,
I
man.
had the towels ready, and then we forgot them at the door.
Well, I had to go back to the house and get
Oh,
the
you
car,
had-
so I brought towels.
Yeah, I had to drive to that one. Olds I can at least walk to, so that's the only reason I like Olds better, because I can walk, but it was better at Sheffield, so I do hope to see more events there, even if it's not haunted happenings. Another Party in the Park. Extravaganza, that was a big hit, lots of eggs. And my daughter had her first egg hunt, mostly putting it in the mouth, and the other kids were determined to get the golden ticket. They did get a golden ticket, but not the right golden ticket. So I guess you guys are gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Alice in Wonderland Jr., that was a really great show, and considering that it was less this time, right? Because it got
4
delayed.
months instead of 5 months.
Right. So I was really impressed that you guys were able to pull it off, because I was a little nervous.
We always say the worse the dress rehearsal, the better the show, and this was our worst dress rehearsal and the best show we've ever had.
It really was. I think my favorite was Twiddledee and Tweedledum. They were hilarious together.
Yeah.
And
Anna and Vivian did a great job.
they did.
I don't choose the cast. We have non-partial judges that don't know the cast.
Right,
And
I remember.
they come in and sometimes we question their choices, but every show it comes through.
It comes
and we go,
out.
wow, they did a great job selecting our cast, and they did again this time too.
And then the Simon Says part, I really liked.
Yes, yes. I understand the set crew was doing Simon Says.
Oh, were they?
backstage, Yes.
It was a good scene. Yeah, I hope I can watch the video at some point, because I was much further in the back
The
this
generic
time.
one is coming out, but actually, and I haven't shared this with staff, Hearts Video over in Dunedin, who is friends of mine for over 20 years, they are donating all of our theater videos, probably from here forward, but he's already committed to doing professional videos that he did of Alice in Wonderland.
I heard that, that's awesome.
And he'll also be doing the Beetlejuice. He's committed to both of those, and we'll actually get close-ups, you know, where you can, instead of just the wide angle the whole time, we'll get the close-ups and see the kids' faces and everything.
Yeah, because I didn't want it to be like Aladdin Jr., where my 15-month-old son was crying. You can hear him in the whole video, so didn't want that to happen this
No, it
time.
was great. The crowd was great. The kids were engaged, so they weren't running around screaming behind me where I was trying to pay attention. And we had a great crowd for it, and our counters gave over 300 in the audience, so very proud.
Very good job. I was really impressed.
Thank you, thank you. The kids did great. It's all them.
I know. Always.
I'm just the ringmaster.
Chaos coordinator.
Yes.
And then the hearts I distributed last time for Miss Joan Byrne, they're at City Hall right now, so if you want to, you can go look at those anytime. I think it's
Yep.
through May 15th.
Yep, they're up there. I went to to the reception.
Yeah, you were there.
It was
I
really
remember
nice,
seeing
yeah.
you, And I was also at the groundbreaking ceremony, so that was good. You guys were there too, putting it on. Good job, John. Logistics master again. And yeah, we had another successful armadillo run. Thank you for clearing it up. It was much more organized. You knew where to run to, you knew the mileage, whereas before you didn't always know and people were going the wrong way. So that didn't happen this time. So looking forward to Honor Our Heroes run in a few weeks. So, and thank you, Jenny, for sending out the monthly reports again. So that's all I have. Is there any other further board comments by board members or staff?
No?
All right, well, next meeting is May 12th at 6 PM. Meeting adjourned. August. Oh, yeah, August 12th.
See ya.